Hey guys, welcome to the Redmen TV. Stay here. It's opposition preview time ahead of Liverpool versus Newcastle on Wednesday night. Joined by Jonny from NewcastleFansTV. Just want to let you guys know that BT Sport will be broadcasting all 10 Premier League midweek fixtures exclusively from Tuesday the 30th of August to Thursday the 1st of September, including the Liverpool versus Newcastle game on Wednesday evening. With the BT Sport monthly pass, you can watch huge amounts of footy from the Premier League, the UEFA Champions League, the UEFA Europa League, the UEFA Europa League Conference, Serie A, Ligue 1 and the Vanarama National League as well for the next 30 days for just 25 quid with no contract. So yeah, sign up, visit bt.com/monthly pass and get involved. And like I say, watch Liverpool versus Newcastle as well, which I'm about to speak to Jonny about. So yeah, Jonny, let's crack into it then, mate. Obviously, the big game on Wednesday at Anfield. I can't really start anywhere else, my mate, other than the injury situation at Newcastle. So as it stands, and I'm going to just make sure I've got this right, we know John Joe Shelby's out. We know Callum Wilson's out. We know Kraft's out as well. Obviously, he picked up the injury at Tranmere in midweek. It looks like Bruno is going to be out as well, probably. And then you guys are all crossing your fingers about Alan St-Maximin because he obviously hobbled out of the draw with Wolves the other day. So, yeah, although you guys are, again, unbeaten started the season, 1 win and 3 draws, but it feels a little bit like we were a couple of weeks ago where the injury bug is bitten now, and it feels like, yeah, getting a team on the pitch is starting to be a bit of a problem for Eddie Howe.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think you've touched about some of the players that are potentially injured and out for this game. They're our spine of the team. Bruno Guimaraes, Callum Wilson, Kieran Trippier, Alan St-Maximin, they are really, really strong players for Newcastle United. And I don't expect Bruno Guimaraes to make the game on Wednesday night, which is a big, big blow for us because he's been absolutely incredible. I actually think he would do brilliant at Liverpool, believe it or not, but you're not taking him. But in terms of Alan St-Maximin and Kieran Trippier, in terms of the leadership qualities, and I know it was only Tranmere, but he came on last week and he completely changed it for Newcastle, really did. And then Alan St-Maximin, he didn't really have the best of games, in my opinion, against Wolves the other day. But what a goal. And that is what quality Alan St-Maximin's got. It wouldn't surprise me if Alan St-Maximin was on the bench for the game against Liverpool, and maybe 20, 30 minutes from the end. But we do have our record signing, Alexander Isak, who should be available. So that will give Newcastle fans a welcome boost, and Eddie Howe a welcome boost as well.
I was about to say, it almost feels, mate, and again, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but like say, 1 win, 3 draws, it's not like the end of the world if you not so much throw the Liverpool game away, but if you go there and if you've got a couple of risks, why bother? Because then you play Palace at home on Saturday, and then you go to West Ham, who aren't exactly flying at the moment, and then you've got Bournemouth at home, then you've got Fulham. So why risk somebody in a game that it's going to be quite difficult, you'd think anyway, whereas if you sit him, then like I say, you've got, if you say Palace, West Ham, Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford, they're the games that you might really want him in, to really make a mark in, where that's my guess, especially when he walks off holding his hamstring. The issue I've got, Jonny, and I don't know if you agree, is that Alan St-Maximin always looks injured. Like he hobbles all the time. He's like, I don't know, he's hobbling around, and next minute he's just sprinting off again, so it's hard to know, is he actually injured, how hurt is he? Because he feels like he's one of those walking wounded guys anyway.
Oh, he certainly is. Any sort of little shoulder barge, or if he goes down, he's feeling his hamstring, he's feeling his knee, he's feeling everything. But no, the one thing I will say, it's difficult to tell because Eddie Howe hasn't done his press conference as we record. But, you talk about the games that we've had, obviously we have games coming up, but you look at the games that we've actually had so far, we've remained unbeaten. We've played the likes of Manchester City, Brighton, and I'm sort of nearly putting Wolves in that category. 3 very, very difficult teams. 3 teams that obviously finished top half, and Man City, of course, won the league. So I think it's been a really, really tough start for Newcastle this season, excluding Forest, who obviously have got a new team essentially. But you're quite right. The next few games on paper look quite nice, but I think Liverpool away, we've got a terrible record at Anfield. Eddie Howe might just say, look, let's just try and see what we can do defensively. And if he does start Isak with Miguel Almiron and Ryan Fraser, yes, it's not the strongest in terms of the width in terms of Newcastle United, but I'm still confident because of everything that's been going on with Newcastle. Maybe not win the game, but I still think we could do something at Anfield. It might get a point, but the confidence at the minute with Newcastle United is so high. I've never, ever experienced so much positivity around the football club since I've supported it.
No, like I said, a change of ownership tends to do those kind of things. Obviously, transfers as well. You mentioned there about the new big guy up front in Isak. Obviously, great timing because Callum Wilson, I think, is a tremendous footy player. I think he's great, and obviously he's got a good, decent enough record against Liverpool. He scored a few against us. He's out, like I say. The risk is there, mate, asking the big fella to go in straight away and start. Is that something that you expect to happen? Because, like I say, the options are quite limited at the moment. I know Liverpool had to do this. Jurgen Klopp had to throw Darwin Núñez in against Crystal Palace because everyone else was injured, essentially. I think he would have liked to have eased him in. It feels like Eddie Howe might have no choice but to put the new big fella up front.
It'll be interesting because if you look at other players that Newcastle have had, Bruno Guimaraes, Sven Botman, they didn't start immediately. Bruno Guimaraes had 2 or 3 games before he was given that opportunity to start, and we've obviously seen how that's worked out for Newcastle. Sven Botman didn't start the first game of the season against Nottingham Forest, but came in for the Brighton game. I would be surprised if Isak starts. I'd be more surprised if he does start. But again, we're running out of options. Chris Wood played 60 minutes against Wolves on Sunday, and he was fine. He wasn't great, but I don't see him doing well against Virgil van Dijk or Joe Gomez, if I'm being honest. But you never know. You maybe surprises people on the night, but I would be surprised if Isak starts. But I think it'd be a pleasant surprise if he does. Yeah,
maybe you can see what, like you said, maybe Chris Wood gives an hour, and then you've got half an hour off the bench for the new guy. You don't want to throw him straight in. Let's talk next one, mate. I'm fascinated by Joelinton. He's gone from the number 9 striker, then he was a bit of a winger, and now he's a box-to-box / almost more defensive style midfield player, and he's doing really well at it. When I first saw this happen, I was like, what is going on here? It's actually, maybe he's just found his calling card. Maybe he's always destined to be a centre midfielder, because I've watched him all season. He's gnarly, he's aggressive, but he's got skill, he's got technique. He gets stuck in. Like, for a lad who you've essentially converted, a Brazilian forward who's converted to a centre mid in England, he's really adapted to it well. It feels like, Eddie Howe and the coaching side or whoever there have really found something, because, again, he's another one I think he's been tremendous for you so far.
He has been tremendous. He's been tremendous since, more or less, since Eddie Howe came to the football club. It was almost a little bit by accident, though, because Newcastle were down to 10 men early on against Norwich last season at home, and Kieran Clark was sent off, so Joelinton was asked to be as a central midfielder with John Joe Shelby on that night, and he had a fantastic game. But the game against Manchester United at St James's just after Christmas, he was phenomenal. He was the best player on the park. He was brilliant, and he's a bit of our enforcer, if you like. He'll break up play. He's not afraid to get his foot in, and he just lets other people who are better going forward, when he just gives them the ball and let them do it. He can run with the ball. I just think his decision making and his shooting is appalling at times, but hopefully he can improve that as the season goes on. But yeah, from when we first bought him as a number 9, £40 million striker, we're thinking, oh, this is interesting. Brazilian 40 million striker. Scored against Spurs at the new Spurs stadium. Thinking we've got a hell of a player, and obviously it just didn't work out like that. As a striker, however, transformation, one of the biggest transformations at Newcastle United history, in my opinion. I think Newcastle fans would openly have sold him for maybe £10 million, £15 million after the first season, or even the second season for that matter. Steve Bruce just could not get the best out of him, but Eddie Howe seems to be doing wonders with him at the minute.
No, you're right. I agree. I think he's fantastic. I have been very impressed with Newcastle all told. Like I say, there's probably more to come in the window. Are you guys expecting too much more ins and outs over the next couple of days?
Yeah, I think Newcastle, I don't think they'll be extremely busy, but I think you might see 1 or 2 potentially coming in. Newcastle have been strongly rumored with a midfielder and an attacking right winger. There's conversations whether Isak can actually do the striker role and that right-hand side attacking role. But again, I think Eddie Howe would like another player in that position. Conor Gallagher's been linked. Christian Pulisic has been linked. I think there's an Ajax midfielder, Alvarez, has been linked in the last 24, 48 hours. So Newcastle is certainly looking to bring at least one more player in. In terms of outgoings, I think Newcastle have about, if you looked at Newcastle's bench against Wolves, you could argue there was 5 or 6 players that probably aren't good enough for Newcastle, but not all of them are going to leave in one transfer window. So you might see a couple of players go out on loan. I expect Elliot Anderson, who came off the bench, to stay at Newcastle at least till January. But there's certainly, I think if there was a couple of offers on the table for a couple of fringe players, I'm sure Eddie Howe would probably decide Newcastle should let these players go. The only one that would definitely hear him is Martin Dubravka, the goalkeeper for Newcastle, seems to be joining Manchester United, potentially on loan, with an obligation to buy. I personally wouldn't do business with Manchester United the way they were with Jesse Lingard in January. I would have told them to stuff it. But it seems that they respect the players' wishes, but I don't think I'll be doing that.
Suppose what it does to me, mate, I suppose it says something about how good Martin Dubravka thinks Nick Pope is, that he thinks he's got more chance of going and usurping David De Gea to get a game of footy than Nick Pope, because, yeah, again, he's the last. Let's talk about Pope then, because, again, we've seen in the past for Burnley, he's frustrated Liverpool at times. Now, actually, Liverpool's record against Burnley became pretty good by the end of it, but early on, he was one of those goalies who used to do my head in, because he would just save everything. He'd find a way, because he's huge and big. Has he made a big impression as well?
Yeah, I was very surprised he came in as number one, because Martin Dubravka ended the season very well. He improved a lot with his feet, which I think Eddie Howe likes. He likes a goalkeeper that can improve, that can play the ball from the back. Nick Pope's not necessarily the strongest with playing the ball from the back, and I think that's one of the reasons why Gareth Southgate hasn't selected Nick Pope as England's number one. But what you do get with Nick Pope is a presence. He's a big lad, and we spoke to Steve Stone on the channel, who was a former Burnley coach under Sean Dyche. And he says he just makes himself so big that if anyone's got a shot at him, you feel like you can't beat him. And again, coming out for crosses, coming out for free kicks, you expect him to catch it, because he is a couple of inches taller than Martin Dubravka. And I think Newcastle have only had to pay £3 million this summer for him. I think it's going to be 10 million in total. So it seems a bit of a steal from Newcastle's point of view. But I think he maybe is a little bit more. I think from a defensive point of view, they probably feel more comfortable with someone like Nick Pope and his presence to, claim crosses and set pieces that we've mentioned.
No, yeah, I think he's a really good goalkeeper. I think he's excellent. I'm with you, by the way. I think it's the footwork thing that kind of maybe keeps him out of going playing for England more. Right then, let's have a little look towards the game itself. Then we've skirted around it, players in, out, injuries and stuff like that. Then, so I can pretty much. Liverpool are going to play 4-3-3. It's going to be Salah, Firmino. It's going to be Diaz. It's going to be a back four with Gomez and Van Dijk, and probably Trent, probably Robbo. Fab's going to play. Henderson, Thiago, probably Elliott, maybe, who knows? Sorry, not Thiago. Henderson, Fabinho, and Elliott is what played the other day. If Elliott can't play, then maybe Milner gets in there, or maybe Carvalho. We've got a rough idea. I'm less certain about your guys' team, to be honest, because of all these injuries. So Pope was in goal at the weekend. We'll go through it there. Pope was in goal. We expect Dan Burn to go and play left back again, the world's tallest left back. Is that? Would you expect that to?
Possibly not. I think Matt Targett might come back in for Dan Burn. I thought Dan Burn's been comfortable enough. He's been absolutely fine, but I think Matt Targett could do with minutes. Again, I'm not against Dan Burn starting at left back, but from what we've seen, the interesting one for me is Kieran Trippier, because if Kieran Trippier is even 70% fit, there's an argument to play him. But when you talk about the games that Newcastle have got with an international break, which I'm sure Trippier wants to be involved with, you maybe just go, we'll sit you out on this one, and you might see the former Liverpool fullback Javier Manquillo come in at right back, which I think's fine for one game, but he's probably our third choice right back at the minute. Sven Botman and Fabian Schär will continue at centre half. Midfield, I don't see Bruno playing. If he is playing, he'll be on the bench. Do you risk him? Probably not for this game. Which I think it'll be Joelinton, Joe Willock again, who's played a lot of games, and Sean Longstaff. And then I think Ryan Fraser will start. I don't see ASM starting. So Ryan Fraser on one side, probably Mickey Almiron on the other side, and I think it'll be Chris Wood. So it's not the strongest of Newcastle 11s. However, you just hope if Newcastle can keep it defensively tight for the first 45, 60 minutes, at worst be 1-0 down. If an ASM's on the bench, if an Isak's on the bench, bring them on. Maybe even an Elliot Anderson, who I've mentioned earlier. Give them the opportunity to have a go at Liverpool. And if you get beat 2-0, you get beat 2-0. But, let's make a fist of it. Let's make a game of it. But I think there'll be certainly changes. Liverpool, I think it was the perfect response from the first three games of the season. I know it's only Bournemouth, but to beat Bournemouth so convincingly, I think Liverpool fans nearly forgot about how poor they played against Manchester United on Monday night. So it seems to be a perfect. They're the worst time for Newcastle to play Liverpool right now.
Maybe perhaps, especially without saying maximum, because I think Crystal Palace, who obviously they got a draw at Anfield, they showed it really defensively resolute, and then got one counter attack with Wilf Zaha and scored. And there's a world where Newcastle could do the same, but it's St. Maximin on the counter attack. And listen, we know how much quality he's got. So yeah, from a Liverpool point of view, if Eddie Howe wants to just sit him down and save him for the weekend, I don't think I would be complaining too much, my mate. Yeah, so
bet you won't.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And if the new fella wants to take long to get his house settled in and all that kind of stuff, feel free. Wednesday's fine, don't worry too much about it. Before we go then, Johnny, can I push you for a prediction for the game? What how do you see it going?
Look, the bookies' favourites will be Liverpool. Of course, they will be. I don't think Virgil van Dijk's lost the Premier League game at Anfield, so it just shows you how much a difficult place it is to play at. Newcastle, the confidence in Newcastle has been amazing. I've been to Anfield a few times. The best I've seen is a 2-0 defeat. So it tells you my record there. Do you know what? It's probably a little bit stupid, but I think Newcastle can get a point. I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to say Nick Pope's going to have a blinder and Isak's going to score on his debut coming off the bench with about 15 minutes to go, and Newcastle hold on for a point. But got to stay in the game. Got to stay in the game first half, first 60 minutes. If worst, be it 1-0, then let's see what happens after that. But it just depends on injuries.
Well, I'd like to say, I hope you're wrong. And I'd say good luck as well, Johnny, but I don't mean that either. So, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, thanks very much for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks very much for all you guys watching Redmen TV for this week's opposition preview. Like I say, Liverpool versus Newcastle on BT Sport on Wednesday night, as is every other Premier League game this week. So do go and check that out. And like I say, thanks for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be back next time with another opposition preview. Until then, I'll catch you all soon. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for joining us on this video. Do drop a like and share it on social media if you enjoyed. And if you want more from us, please do consider joining Redmen Plus, our Liverpool streaming service. Get access to documentaries about Liverpool legends, past and present, interviews with Liverpool legends, past and present, and more Redmen shows each and every week in video and in podcast. It's redmenplus.com.